Chapter 1. There was a girl named Elira who lived at the edge of the quietest village in the world. She didn't speak much, not because she couldn't, but because the world around her felt too loud for soft things like dreams. Every evening, when the village curled up in sleep, she wandered to the riverbank, barefoot, hair loose, wearing a scarf that had once belonged to her mother. The river didn't speak in words. It sang in ripples. It shimmered with memories that didn't belong to her, and yet felt like home. Elira was always drawn to the farthest edge, the part where moonlight barely touched, where the lilies floated without wind. Chapter 2. One dusk, the river's hush was broken. Something glittered beneath the reeds. Not a stone, not a shell. It was a mirror. Round, golden framed, with tiny carvings of stars and flowers etched into its edges. She picked it up. The air shimmered. The river froze. And in the mirror, she saw her own face. But behind her, where no one stood, was a garden blooming with impossible colors. Mist curled upward from the glass. A soft wind brushed her cheek. Not from this world. The mirror pulsed. Then whispered, "You're ready now." Chapter 3. Her fingers trembled as she touched the mirror again. And then, the world tilted. The river dissolved. Grass grew under her feet, warm and dewy. Petals danced in the air like stars falling in slow motion. She stood in a garden glowing under a night sky she didn't know. The moon had two halos. The trees sang. And at the center of it all, standing barefoot in the lilies, was a boy, no older than her, with silver eyes and a gentle sadness in his smile. He said nothing, just looked at her like he had been waiting forever. Chapter 4. He didn't move when she stepped forward. Just watched her, quietly, like a page waiting to be read. His hair looked like shadows touched by starlight. His shirt shimmered like the night wind, stitched with tiny, unreadable symbols. And those eyes, silver but soft, like someone who cried once and never forgot how. "What is this place?" Elira whispered. He smiled, just a little. "It's what you needed to find." Chapter 5. The garden wasn't normal. Every step she took, the ground responded. Her curiosity summoned blue vines that glowed. Her wonder birthed a floating bridge of petals. Her sadness made a single tree cry crystal droplets that rang like bells. She laughed once, and the wind echoed it with fireflies. "It's alive," she said. "No," Kael answered gently. "It's you." He showed her the paths. Of a lily trail that vanished behind you. A tree that bloomed only when touched. A mirror pool that whispered truths. She touched the water. It whispered her name. Chapter 6. That night, they sat by a pond filled with floating moons. Kael lit a single sky lantern, shaped like a heart. "You can only send one wish," he said. "Just one." She paused, thought, then whispered, "I want to stop feeling invisible." He didn't speak, just reached out and gently touched her hand. "Then I'll remember you," he said. "Even if you forget this place." The lantern rose. So did her heart. For the first time in forever, she didn't feel alone. Chapter 7. The next morning, Elira returned to the pool, the one that whispered. This time she leaned closer. The surface shimmered, then changed. She saw herself again, but different. This Elira smiled freely, spoke boldly, wore a crown of firefly light. Kael appeared beside her reflection, laughing, holding her hand. Together they looked real. She blinked, and the image fractured like broken glass. She turned to Kael. "Who are you?" He didn't answer. He was looking at the pool too, but his reflection wasn't there. Chapter 8. That night, the garden changed. The trees were still glowing. The flowers still bloomed. But something was off. Her footsteps echoed too long. Her breath left behind misty shapes. Whispers came from paths she hadn't walked. She followed one. It led to a stone wall she'd never seen. Carved into it were names, hundreds, all glowing faintly. Her hand hovered over one. "Kael, you've been here before," she said aloud. Behind her, he finally spoke. "Many people come here. Most forget. Some choose to stay. And you." His voice cracked. I was once real." Chapter 9. He took her to a grove of floating lanterns. Each held a memory. These are from people who passed through, Kael said. Some leave pieces behind. Stories. Feelings. Regrets. She touched one. It showed her as a child, crying in her room, wishing someone would see her. Why is mine here? Because this garden remembers everything you try to forget. She turned to Kael. Am I dreaming? No, he said. But you are choosing. Choosing what? He looked away. Whether to wake up or stay with me. Chapter 10. The garden stopped blooming. The air turned still. Kael took her hand. It was colder than before. Every visitor must face their truth, he said. The garden lets you heal only if you're willing to bleed. What do I have to do? He led her to a bridge of cracked glass. Cross. Face what you've buried. And if I fall, then the parts of you you're hiding stay hidden. Elira stepped forward. The glass didn't shatter, it sang. Chapter 11. On the other side of the bridge stood her. But not the reflection she knew. This Elira had storm in her eyes. She held a broken heart in one hand and a lantern with no light in the other. You left me, the reflection said. I tried to forget, Elira whispered. You tried to become smaller. Quieter. You tried not to be hurt again. And in doing that, the lantern flickered. You forgot how to shine. Elira stepped closer. Then let's hurt. Let's remember. Let's glow. The lantern blazed. Chapter 12. The garden returned. Brighter than ever. Trees sang. Flowers burst open with color. Kael stood in the middle of it, but his edges shimmered. You're leaving, Elira said, her voice tight. He nodded once. I was part of the mirror. The garden's memory. Your wish. But you felt real, she whispered, tears rising. I was. As real as your hope. Your loneliness. Your longing. He touched her cheek. You gave me form. You gave me a name. I'll remember you, she promised. You already do. He leaned in. Their foreheads touched. Then, the garden faded. Chapter 13. Elira opened her eyes. The sky was still dark, but the stars were dimming, the way they do just before morning. The mirror lay beside her, no longer glowing, just a quiet circle of gold. She sat up slowly. Something soft brushed her hand. A flower. A single lotus, glowing faintly pink with a trail of gold sparkles in its petals. She held it close to her heart. The breeze carried a whisper. You were never invisible. Chapter 14. Elira still visited the river every evening. But now the silence felt different. It wasn't emptiness, it was space. Space for dreaming. She spoke aloud sometimes. To the wind. To the stars. To Kael. She painted the lotus in her notebook. Wrote stories she once hid. Laughed more, quietly but truly. And though she never saw the garden again, sometimes, when the moon was right, the mirror shimmered. Just a little. Chapter 15. That spring, she left a gift by the river. The mirror. The flower. And a note. For the next lost heart. And beneath it, just 2 words. Remember me. Somewhere. Maybe in the garden, maybe not. A soft voice replied. Always. And so, she walked away from the river, not looking back. Not because she'd forgotten, but because some magic doesn't fade, it follows. In the way the sky turns pink at dawn. In the way the wind feels warmer when you speak your truth. In the way one single glowing flower can hold an entire world. Elira had found a place beyond mirrors. But more importantly, she had found herself. And maybe, just maybe, if you sit by the water long enough, if you listen with your heart wide open, the garden will open for you too.